The Whispering Lake in the heart of rural Maine, nestled deep within the sprawling pine forests, lay Whispering Lake, a body of water known for its eerie calm and unnerving reputation. The lake got its name from the strange, inexplicable whispers that the townspeople claimed to hear whenever they ventured too close. Most people avoided it, but the curious and the daring couldn't resist its mysterious allure. For decades, stories circulated about the lake. Some said it was haunted, others believed the water held ancient, dark secrets. There was even an old legend about a group of settlers who had disappeared near its shore centuries ago, swallowed by the lake, their cries forever carried by the wind. Sarah and her friends Mark, Lisa, and Tyler were city dwellers, spending their summer break in Sarah's old family cabin just a mile from Whispering Lake. Sarah had heard the tales growing up but dismissed them as nothing more than ghost stories to scare kids. But Mark was fascinated by the idea, eager to see if there was any truth to the legend. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and a full moon rose, Mark suggested they explore the lake. "It's just a lake," he said, shrugging off their hesitation. "What's the worst that could happen?" Reluctantly, the group agreed. Armed with flashlights and a sense of adventure, they made their way through the dense forest, the air thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. The trees soon gave way to the lake, its glassy surface reflecting the pale moonlight. Everything was silent, unnervingly so. They stood at the edge of the water, staring out at the mist creeping across the surface. A cold breeze swept past them, carrying with it a faint sound, soft, barely perceptible at first. It sounded like whispers, low and unintelligible, as if someone or something was speaking from the center of the lake. "Do you hear that?" Lisa asked, her voice trembling. Before anyone could answer, Tyler stepped closer to the water's edge. "It's probably just the wind." But the whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if calling to them. Mark, ever the skeptic, grabbed a small rowboat that had been left tied to a nearby tree. "Let's check it out. We'll row to the middle and see if we can figure out where it's coming from." Lisa and Sarah exchanged uneasy glances, but against their better judgment, they followed Mark and Tyler into the boat. As they paddled out, the whispers seemed to surround them, echoing off the water, growing louder with each stroke. The moonlight bathed the lake in a ghostly glow, and the mist thickened, wrapping around them like a shroud. Halfway across the lake, the boat suddenly stopped. The oars felt heavy, as if something was holding them in place. The water beneath them rippled unnaturally, and the whispers turned into a cacophony of voices, louder and clearer now. They weren't just whispers, they were words. "Leave, leave, before it's too late." Sarah's heart raced. "We need to go back." But before they could turn the boat around, something from beneath the water brushed against the hull. Mark shined his flashlight into the water, and for a brief moment, they saw it pale, ghostly hands reaching up from the depths, grasping at the boat. Panic set in. They frantically paddled, but the boat barely moved. The whispers grew deafening, now screaming at them to leave. Then, without warning, the boat tipped violently, throwing them into the icy water. Sarah felt the cold hit her like a shock, her body going numb. As she struggled to stay afloat, she saw Mark and Lisa thrashing in the water. But Tyler was gone. In the confusion, something grabbed Sarah's ankle, pulling her down. She fought desperately, but the grip tightened, dragging her deeper into the lake. Just as her lungs were about to give out, she broke free, kicking toward the surface. Gasping for air, she reached the overturned boat and pulled herself onto it. Mark and Lisa were clinging to the side, their faces pale with terror. "Where's Tyler?" Sarah shouted. But before they could answer, they saw it in the distance, just beneath the surface of the water, was Tyler, his lifeless body floating, pale hands still clutching his arms, dragging him further into the depths. His mouth was open in a silent scream. The whispers had stopped. The lake was still. Terrified and exhausted, Sarah, Mark, and Lisa managed to swim back to shore, their hearts pounding in their chests. They collapsed on the ground, too shocked to speak. Behind them, the lake returned to its eerie calm, as if nothing had happened. The next morning, the authorities found them on the shore, shaken and unable to explain what had occurred. Tyler's body was never found, swallowed by the lake like so many before him. The townspeople said nothing. They simply nodded knowingly, for they had all heard the whispers and knew the lake's terrible secret. Whispering Lake was not just a place of legend, it was a place of death, and those who dared to disturb its waters would never escape its haunting grasp.